meeting has officially been called to order. I will guess, Iris, I guess you would be the one recording the attendance, the council? Yeah. So, everyone's present and accounted for. We need a motion to approve the agenda. Moved by Rodney, second by Matt. Question? All those in favor? Aye. Contrary? Just as a quick aside, I've been told this is the very first ever meeting as a whole for Miramichi River Valley or Blackville. So, hey, didn't know we're creating new things tonight, right? Next thing on the agenda is a declaration of conflict of interest. Council, you looked at the proposed agenda. Does anybody want to declare a conflict on any of the items? Thank you. Nobody has declared a conflict. Be it noted. So it looks like we have a lot of business on the agenda tonight, but it will pass quite quick. All of the council has done their homework and have read up on these things. At least we were supposed to try. And just a couple minutes ago, Justin and I were speaking, and it's just the amount of reading. It's just like, whoa, because you don't read it once, you read it twice, and then you read it 3 or 4 times, and you still have to go back and read it again to make sure you're getting it interpreted right. So, the supervisor's report suggested that we move on a strategic plan within the first year that we are in office, and Councillor Underhill has taken a look at some proposals that had come in. Now, Councillor Underhill, these came in before we arrived, correct?
They did, and thank you, Madam Mayor. We received 3 proposals prior to us becoming part of council. So what I did, I reviewed them. Since then, we had 2 more companies reach out that would like to place in proposals that said they would have them in before the end of August.
Okay.
So really happy with that. We had 3 really great proposals, so it's always good to have a couple more. And since it's our first one, we want to make sure we do it right.
Absolutely.
So in the meantime, I've contacted, they provided references, the 3 that did submit. I contacted the references, and when we have them all, I'll be able to give an update so council can have a fulsome discussion perhaps on which one we should appoint.
So, Council, this is just me asking a question. Should we get a copy of those and we can read them over and stuff prior to getting to a meeting?
We received them at our very first meeting. So if we go back to those, the first 3. So if you go back to your first 3 set of minutes, they'll be in there. And then maybe our CAO can pass them out for 2 new ones when we get them. Sounds good.
Sounds good.
Would you like me, just as a question in the council, would you like me to contact the references of those 2 proposals when they come in before the meeting, and provide an update?
Marilyn, I would suggest that, because I've been looking for references for the people, and everybody is on vacation. It must be. I sent emails and phone calls and nothing back yet. Nothing. Now, I only started on Monday, but it's Monday, yesterday, and today. Still nothing back. I even checked my emails before the meeting just in case one meeting.
All right, that would be great. Carolyn, if you would do that. I will. Is there anything else that you'd like to update us on regarding the strategic plan proposals?
No, that's everything. Thank you.
Okay. So, Article 5.2, Councillor Underhill is also going to give us an update. Bylaw number 91, ATV access.
Thank you again. We've talked at different times regarding ATV access to the roads that are within our municipality. Madam Mayor, you and I have had quite a bit of conversation about that. We've had a number of folks approach us asking about, we're already on the roads. We're already on the roads with the ATVs. Wouldn't it be great if we had a rationale and had approved some of the particular roads. The way it would work is that the roads that I've identified, you would have them in your package. We would add them to our bylaw. It would be read twice, and then before it would go for the third reading, it has to go to the Department of Justice for approval. And then whatever they approve, then we put it back for the third reading, because it is a bylaw, so it has to be read 3 times. So we have to have approval from the Department of Justice and Public Safety, but it'd be after the second reading.
Okay, so as you said, both of us have been doing a fair amount of research on this. I received an email back from, the ATV Association, the Brunswick Association, and their reply was, so some of it's really easy. The municipality has some jurisdiction over the streets out here. However, some of the things that we want to add are not streets, they're actually part of highways, like the Lockstead Road, or the road coming down from Mullen Stream across the river and over to, the Irving and Sunny Corner. And those come under DPI jurisdiction, so that's going to be, probably a bigger hill to climb, but we can climb it, because what we have to ask for is called a HUP, highway usage permit, and I'm familiar with it because we've done them for the Snowmobile Association. So, as Councillor Underhill pointed out, we're already on the roads, but what people want to not have to do is be looking over their shoulder all the time, wondering if they're gonna find lights coming on and chasing down and getting a fine because they're operating on a highway. So, thank you, Councillor Underhill. What do you think our next step should be?
So I'd like, in front of you, we have, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 requests. If we could have this discussion, are there any additions, any deletions, do you have any concerns about those? I can read them off, would you like me to read them off?
That would be wonderful.
And just as an aside, I have talked to the Dungarvan ATV Club about this, and the president here at Goodwin, and they were certainly supportive of all this, as I assume they would be, but they are informed. So the first one, so we already have approval for ATVs to go from the trail by the ballpark in Blackville to the Irving. What we're requesting is Route 8, and that's what you're referencing, Madam Mayor, is Route 8 from the Blackville Irving to Blackville Foulet. What we're trying to do with these is promote tourism. So when people do come to the area, they have perhaps access to our various businesses. So the first one is from the Blackville Irving to Blackville Foulet and back. The next one would be one that is used constantly. It's from the tourist building here in Blackville, up the Lockstead Road onto the McLagan Drive, and you see where that's in front of the school, to the Dungarvan Road. That's the freeway right now for ATVs side, but so it's a well-used trail. Again, it's one of those roads though that are not with, McLagan Drive is within our jurisdiction, but Lockstead Road would be outside, and we're crossing Route 8.
So where does McLagan Drive end and the Dungarvan Road begin?
At the dirt.
At the dirt.
Yeah, when it goes from pavement to dirt road. Next one? Okay. The next one is, an interesting one. This is from Route 8, from the trail, Route 8, up the tourism building, up the Lockstead Road to Pineville. Then, turn right when you get to Pineville, go right on the South Renewals Road, cross Route 8 to McNeil Street. And that's where it hits the other trail. So what we're trying to do is to ensure that folks within the removed areas are able, number one, to get to the trail, either through Lockstead and go to the Blackville Trail, or down to McNeil Street.
So the snowmobile trail was the old train track, behind, the tourism building.
Yes,
That doesn't go down past McNeil?
it does, it definitely, that's the whole trail.
Uh-huh.
The issue would be for the folks in Renews to be able to access the trail. Because the trail goes from, like I say, the old train track, it goes up through Corrigal, in behind Renews, and then up to Blackville. So anyone in the Renews area proper, there's no way unless they actually truck their ATV to get to the trail legally.
Gotcha.
I do have a question with the Marilyn, if I may.
Absolutely.
What about the people on, Route 108 on the Renews?
Yeah.
That would be, now they could, there's also a service station there, but for them to get to the trail on the other side of the river, you'd have to come across the Pineville Bridge or the main, or the Route 8 bridge.
covered in the next one?
Yeah. I don't think so.
No.
But it could.
Yeah, but I just want, like,
I wonder if so that would be okay if I read the next one, because we could include that one.
Okay.
That part of it, Councillor Bucky.
it's funny.
Before you get there though,
Yes,
you got
please.
turning right at the end of Lockwood Road. Turning left.
No.
Different one as well.
Turning right.
Yeah, no, but when you get to the end of Lockwood Road, you turn right if you're going south and towards my house.
Yes.
Turning left, the road heads up.
America.
Away
America.
from America.
That, so you,
That page
should we
starts,
do that as well? Is that what
Well-
you're suggesting?
will make sense, the bikes keep on going past that way.
Yeah.
I don't use that
They
here.
use it regardless, yeah. So literally, it would be all South News Road, yeah.
I can, and then,
That's what we're here for.
okay, I can adjust that. Okay, thank you.
That route probably has the best rationale out of all of them,
Yeah.
but it's also probably gonna be the hardest because it's such a long distance of being on the non-municipal road. But the rationale for it, I think, is sound.
I think the next one's the longest one.
So the next one, and especially if so I'll start with the next one. The next one is the same idea, it's from the tourist building in Blackville, go up through Boxhead Road to Pineville, turn right onto the South Bridge Road, Renews Road, then turn left onto the Red Bridge Road to 108, then turn left again to the Mullen Stream, to the Royal, what's it called? Reserve Brook Road. So what Councillor Buggy was suggesting is that when you get there, you could also turn right and take you to a gas station. That's the idea behind this, is trying to make it so it's accessible.
Sorry.
No, you please go ahead.
No, I'm just thinking, like, I was thinking the people on that side of the river looking to get to the trail, not to mention gas. So they're gonna have to come across 108 somewhere and get either across the Pineville Bridge, or across the main river bridge, or go across the train bridge, and then they're on the trail. Getting on the train bridge. The thing is, that's like, traveling on South Renews Road and Route 108, two totally different roads.
Yeah.
You're hardly gonna meet a thing on South Renews Road. You might now, just because they chip sealed the Route 108. But that other road, like, it's just, I wouldn't, I can't approve of it anyway, but I'm thinking if that goes to the proper authorities, they're probably gonna say, no, on that, just because it's not a wide enough highway to have shared.
If they say no, they say no.
Yeah.
Government's good at saying no.
Would there be something, another,
There's all kinds of trails, but you'd have to know it when you're
you have
going
to know it,
through
it's not
a
like
hundred
people.
people's property.
And if you actually are on the Dungarvan ATV site, there's constantly people saying, I'm coming from Nashwauk. I
I'm
wanna
gonna
get
get
to wherever, what's the trail I can use, right?
Mhm.
And there's science in those trails too, but not much, right?
Yeah.
You kinda gotta know where you're.
And as Rodney pointed out, if you start down that road, literally, you're going to be looking for, across people's property. Now, the snowmobile federation, and I would suspect the ATV federation as well, might have agreements where they go to, like, I want to cross Paula's property with my snowmobile. There's like a written agreement where she signs off that yes, as long as you stay on the trail, you can do that. So there might be something like that that would happen too.
Yeah, I might be careful with the gravel land there.
Probably have to cross somebody's land to get to the town, I think.
Yeah.
perhaps we can.
Well, that's something you can do. I think, just thinking people from Renews would be happy enough to be able to get to Pine Bridge and get down to Renews Road and get on the trail without any illegal activity, I guess.
We want to be able to give them access to fuel too, so we might want to say, when you come up the Red Bridge Road, you have access to go left to the,
I'll be right.
left to the reserve
Oh, Reserve
Brook
Road.
Road, or you can turn right and get gas at the Shell.
So then that's quite a,
Oh, it's a lot.
quite a bit of distance, everything, that garage and the.
I agree, no, I totally agree.
And if they're coming across there, they should have already gotten gas.
I would hope so.
Yeah.
Okay,
There's other ways to get to Reserve Brook, but you'd have to know that.
Yeah.
the trail, yeah. So the next one then is, for the Sunny Corner folks, it would be from the Mullen Stream Road to the back road. So you come out, if you're coming from, Bald Mountain, coming out of the woods, you turn left onto the back road, to the northwest road, and then out to the Sunny Corner Irving.
What would the distance there be, Debbie, roughly?
Two and a half
Okay.
kilometers.
From where from the back road?
From the Mullen Stream Road to the
Yeah.
Irving, not that far.
2,000.
Bridge to the-
Maybe three.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's not,
Yes.
not bad, yeah. And then finally, the last one, it'll be from the trail in Quarryville. So right now, the Quarryville Bridge is not approved for ATV access. And typically, I've heard a number of folks, including myself, when you cross that road, we've been stopped by public safety, saying that bridge is not approved. But we need to be able to be able to get gas at Route 118 gas station. So this would be from Quarryville, across the Quarryville Bridge on Route 118 to Route 118 gas station.
Okay, so council, you've heard, Councilor Underhill's presentation. She's done considerable work on this. I guess the next thing would be for us to make a motion, that you can bring it forward to make a motion
Yeah.
at a regular meeting, because, the way that this meeting works tonight, we can't not finalize anything at it. This is just an opportunity, for us to talk and network and plan among ourselves, council, and bring motions to our regular meeting, which would be, this Tuesday coming up, August the 4th. And so, would somebody like, to make a motion, the Councilor Underhill bring that forward?
Can I, ask another question? What about signage? Would we have to be, responsible for signage like that, you see that in the park, it says shared
Yeah,
trail.
trail.
Is it gonna be the same for, on the highway?
I think that's a really good question, Rod. For any of the areas that are covered by the Dungarvan ATV Club, they would be responsible, I believe, we will talk to them. For the other areas, because once we get into Renews and Sunny Corner, those aren't within the Dungarvan ATV Club.
Okay.
The roadside.
They are, so we'd have to see what that responsibility would be
Okay.
and who would have that. So that's a really good question.
Any other questions before we vote on the motion? We need a seconder for the motion.
I'll second it.
Okay, gotta back up, I thought you made the motion.
No,
I made the
Marion
motion.
made the motion.
Yeah.
Motion by, Marilyn, seconded by Rodney. Any further discussion, questions? All those in favor? Motion carries. Thank you, Marilyn.
Sorry for coming.
Apologies needed.
Yeah, you're done.
My nice one. Okay. Blue in the dark, Councilor Underhill.
Yeah, it's blue in the park, actually.
Oh,
It's dark, but that's all right. It says that on the agenda, but it is blue in the park. So what this is, the old Black Old Fashioned Christmas, they're wishing to partner or wanting to partner with Black Home School, and they've agreed. This year, we'd like to be able to do a trunk or treat in the park and for Saturday, October 24th. So businesses, home and school, members of Black Old Fashioned Christmas, and anyone else in the community that would like to participate Right now, they have one in Millerton and in, Miramichi. And kids would come there, you would open your trunk, you pass out treats, the same as you do like at Halloween, which you do at home. Kids dress up. So we have a number of items that we would like to do. We have a games night. We are asking, and the Blackwood Student Council to actually bring their popcorn machine and pass out popcorn, and kids could buy popcorn. We're gonna have a movie, a little bit of a, you know, Halloween type of movie, not too scary. Just to kind of bring a little bit more, community feeling. So what we were asking for was your support, so we're not asking for money, so number one. We're just asking for your support that we can use the park that night. What we plan on doing as well is that if you say, if Matthew and Vanessa wanted to participate, they could come down, park there, we'll have stations set up. You pass out treats and we'll give you a certificate if you want to put it in your door Halloween night and say, I've already participated in doing the park. So the kids would know the difference.
Hey, then the egg gives.
Then they get your house.
I'll be double dipping there.
So you've heard what Boo in the Park is all about. Can I have a motion that we move to our next meeting, to motion to approve this? Moved by Matt, seconded by Tyson. Any other question on the Boo in the Park? All
No, I do have a question. No cost to us, right? That's
No
just
cost to you,
Yep.
host at all. We are gonna charge, $5, you come to tourist building, $5 a person. But then you get the movie for free, you get all your treats and that. And so let's say Matthew did decide, so he didn't mind getting so sick. If you did decide to bring your treats to the park that night, we'll give you free coupons. So your kids, if you're coming bringing a treat, you shouldn't have to pay for your chops. So we want to be able to give you this, we'll give you 3 coupons for your kids to get them free. Yeah.
I think it's a great idea, to be honest.
Thank you. And we'll have,
I think it's a great idea. My only hesitation would be, and this doesn't happen much anymore because people don't have large families, but if you have 5 or 10 kids coming with you, would there be a ceiling on it?
oh, for sure.
Yeah.
And we haven't talked about that, but definitely, because it's not a,
Not a money.
it's a trying to make it a community event, yeah. So it's not a huge money maker, although we will share any of the profits, we'll do 50-50 with Blackwell Home School.
Okay, so we have a mover and a seconder. I believe we may have questioned it to its entirety. All those in favor? Contrary? Motion passed. No, I'm not contrary. Not yet. Oh, you are.
Contrary minded.
Always. Okay, motion passed. Moving on to the next one. We're still gonna get a break from her.
Oh, yeah.
Item number 5.5, for a little while, Councillor Underhill, Blackwell Wellness Committee.
Oh, you skipped right on board.
Oh, heavens. 5.4, Blackwell Park items, Councillor Underhill.
You should have put someone in between.
I didn't make the agenda.
Might as well talk when you got it.
So this, I want to just bring this up, before the end of this kind of summer season. At our park, we're looking for a number of items. Firstly, we have, we talked to, Councillor Sturgeon about it earlier. There's a number of items in the old tourism building in the park that need to be either destroyed, given away, or someone, we just need the whole thing cleaned out. So we'd like to be able to take some pictures of the things that are good, maybe put them on the municipal site and say if someone wants to come pick them up, they contact you folks, you tell people that work at the park, they can come pick them up. A lot of things need to be thrown away as well. So we want to be able to go out and do that. The next thing is, we need to have the building in the park pressure washed. The spiders is going to be perfect for Halloween, but for, you know, normal stuff, it's not so much. So we really need it pressure washed. And I'm talking with Tyson and Matt both while I'm doing this, because I know they do Parks and Rec. We need to have electrical outlets. We have electrical outlets throughout the park. However, we need to have electrical outlets at the east end of the park. So that would be towards the point. On the other side, there's a little trail that goes behind the old tourist building. We need electrical outlets on there because we need to be able to put lights, different things up for various events. There's a couple of areas that we need that done. I also need solar, I think I said solar lights, a few more, and I need doggy bag posts at the parking lot. There's a few of them there, but we need them at the parking. You will not believe the number of people that actually walk their dogs in the park. It's unreal. And we need doggy bags closer so they're not leaving, you know, doggy remains there, yeah, right.
Small ask. So would the appropriate thing here, folks, be to have some kind of a, not necessarily a working group that could, look more closely at what these requests are, price them out, and then come back to council? Like I was making notes here as you spoke, Marilyn. The things that may get posted on the website, who do they belong to?
They belong to municipalities.
Okay, so then are we able to give things away, or do they have to, if they have a monetary value, I think we have to put them up for people to tender?
We do have an asset disposal policy in place, and it states that, excuse me, you can determine what you want to give away, what you want to throw away, and what you want to actually let people buy. None of them are worth a whole lot of money.
No, but we don't want to be,
Oh.
in a position that we're being accused of giving, municipal assets away
Absolutely.
to our friends.
So there
Or
is,
enemies.
yes, there is we can go back and review that particular policy,
Okay.
and it should help guide us how we probably go through with that.
Okay, so council, I was
That's-
gonna say, how would you like to proceed in
No,
this,
I
but
was
Robbie, go
gonna
ahead.
ask, what are some of the, can you give an example of
Yes,
some of the
I
items?
can. Really, there's some really nice chairs. So, you know, if someone needed chairs, or a committee or something needed chairs at church, I don't know how many there are, but there's probably 10, 12 nice chairs there. Excuse me, there's some of the old fashioned tables that are that wooden type, that have the steel legs. There are probably 10 huge lantern type things, because in the park, they used to have large, I don't know, lights on top of the posts. And when we went to solar, they took them down. They're in a room in there. I don't know who would want them, but someone might want them. But they're huge. They're taking up a whole room.
Mhm. That's in the old,
The old building.
building,
Yeah.
So, do I have some volunteers to work with Marilyn to bring this back?
Yeah.
Matt, Tyson?
I don't mind looking at some of the.
Yeah,
stuff on-
I don't mind either, just simply because, it's always good to have a perspective from a different part of the world.
Yeah, definitely. And I only bring it up now because I know we have people that are still working in the park, and they work till September, that we could get some of these things done while they were still working.
So, when's the next step? What do you want to do next?
We could, well,
I think we can communicate through email and
Yeah.
figure out a date that we can all go and
Yeah.
stuff, whatever.
and I'll put it in email, some of the different items, and that way you have it on paper.
Tina, are we even allowed to do this, or do we have to make a motion to take it to the next meeting to make a motion?
I think we should review the policy and see how we can dispose of the assets.
Okay, that's a good idea. Maybe you could send it to us.
I will.
Okay, perfect.
So, we haven't done anything wrong here?
Not
Not
yet.
yet, not yet,
Not yet.
The
Okay.
electrical.
Yes.
Probably,
It probably could be, yes, or should be.
wouldn't be a big job,
No, it has to be wired underneath the pavement, underneath the
Oh,
road. but-
really?
Yeah, it does, yeah. I suppose
Well,
we could
I
do it in the
got some
air.
ideas, Marilyn, as far as
There you go.
electrical goes, you know.
There you go.
And what about the solar lights? What's the, price on those?
We said 1,200, I think
or above?
Yeah.
That's just for the unit plus installation, or that's with installation?
That's with the installation, I'm pretty sure.
Wait and
So,
solve.
folks,
Yeah.
can
We install?
can we move the planning to the committee
Are you-
too, rather than keeping these two people here listening to our plan?
We can bring your plan back to them.
Yes, yeah, so, council, we're good? Okay. So, now, the next,
Last one for this.
last one for this, 5.5, Blackville Wellness Committee, Councilor Underhill.
Excuse me, I
I'm
don't think that
sorry.
passed. That didn't pass, so we could be good.
We didn't make a motion, because I asked if we needed a motion, and I got the response, if we needed one.
Okay.
But we can make one,
No, we don't need it, hold on.
just to make everything legal and happy. Yes, let's do it, we don't want somebody saying afterwards. Who can make a motion that we do that?
I did.
Yeah, Marilyn made the motion, seconded by Paula, all those in favor? Aye. Contrary minded, motion passed. Blackville Wellness Committee, Councilor Underhill.
Thank you. So, prior to joining council, Blackville had a very robust and, workable wellness committee. It was called the Blackville Wellness Committee. And, I was co-chair of the committee. Excuse me, along with a member of council, and we had a number of folks involved in it. It was a wellness committee. I'd like to be able, if council agrees, to be able to have an umbrella that we call, I already have the health committee. I'd like to put it under that umbrella, whether it be, and we have the MRV Health Committee, and we have the Blackville Wellness Committee. Now, we started this and have members of the Blackville Ward 3, as well as other folks from, GRMAC and those places. So it, just to be clear, it is not a municipality committee. I would like to bring it under our umbrella. My umbrella.
So just maybe in, not doing any different here, but since it's not a municipal committee, would it be better to leave it independent?
Well, right now, it could be similar to the rec council, I'm not sure, but right now, there's a wellness, budget amount. And so some of that money from the wellness budget amount helps schools with the chef's program or other types of programs that are put on to the wellness committee. The Blackville Garden, community garden, and now there's one in Millerton and Sunny Corner. Those types of things have gone through this committee. So, no, it's not a municipal committee, but they still receive funds through the municipality. You don't have to decide tonight, but it is up for discussion because we don't want to lose things like the chef's program. We know it is invaluable. Mr. Buggy, would you have any comment on the chef's program?
It was valuable when they offered it, but they haven't offered it the last couple of years.
Did not do it last year. No.
Yeah, we had done the year before, I was doing.
Yeah.
So,
You can answer.
it seems to me like I've got a lot of questions that, you know, maybe we can get more education on and come back to it. Are you okay with that, Councilor Underhill?
Yes, definitely. And, you know, it might be something that if each area wanted to have that type of wellness committee, I'd be certainly willing to help with that.
That's what I'm thinking, maybe move it more towards becoming like a municipal thing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Deputy Surgeon, I believe you are next on the agenda with, bylaw number 3, remuneration of council and policy.
So give Marilyn a little bit of break. So I guess just some backstory to this, and what I'll speak to is more so, the expense policy that, we're attaching to the bylaw, because that's what I actually kind of structured. I don't know if any wording or any amendments need to be made to the bylaw itself, other than adding the language to, attach the expense policy to it whenever we have an approved policy that we're comfortable in, attaching. So, just some backstory, we kind of inherited an approved, expense policy from the previous council. That policy was never, attached directly to the bylaw. It had gone through 2 readings, prior to us taking office. And before the 3rd reading happened, we decided to table it so that we could have a little bit of input and talk a little bit about what we wanted that, expense policy to, reflect. So I took the policy that we had, the most recent one, the one that had the 2 readings, and I kind of compared it to other publicly accessible expense policies in other municipalities, as well as, expense policies in other, government departments. And really, it was a pretty fair representation of, kind of best practice policies with a few, proposed changes. So I did email everybody a copy of the policy that I had kind of docked up this, last night. So, if you want, I can read through the policy, or I can just go to the parts where I'm suggesting changes.
So, I have a question.
Sure.
We're kind of talking like apples and oranges, one's a policy and one's a bylaw. And it appears, if I'm looking at this page, it talks about the policy, the effective date became effective on September 15. It was revised on November 4th, 2025. So that is the expense policy.
Yeah.
And then as far as you're suggesting that is attached to the remuneration?
No, it's remuneration, it's spelled incorrectly, it's remuneration.
Just when I thought I was getting it right, I looked and I said.
No, it's spelled wrong in the bylaw and in the agenda.
Okay, thank you.
It was proposed by the previous council that this policy should be attached to the bylaw, and I think it should be as well, so that it has a little bit stronger, basis and procedure.
So I'm confused, I don't know which part is policy and which part is the.
What you're looking at is policy. What
Okay.
I didn't do anything, whatever Tina provided, this is item 5.6 at the top. I emailed the policy that I worked on yesterday, last night.
And this bylaw was approved by John Ferguson?
Yes.
On the first day of January 2023, that's in our, binders that we always do. Okay, so it's just a little bit confusing that, go ahead.
So it's probably best I'll read through the policy, and then we can have chats about the, additions or amendments and the rationale behind those, or my proposed rationale, I should say. So, this is draft for consideration, council consideration for proposed amendments to the expense policy number 001. Purpose of the bylaw, or I should say scope first, who it affects all employees and council members of the rural community of Murphy River Valley. The purpose of this policy shall be to provide for necessary authorization for travel, municipal business, and to provide for the reimbursement of reasonable travel expenses. Scope of authority, staff and council and members of council are encouraged to attend meetings, conventions, or seminars for acquiring relevant information discussing matters of local concern, representing the municipality's interest, or for furthering education and professional development opportunities. Members of staff shall prepare a post-travel report for council as required. Budgeted allocations for travel will be adhered to by council and staff. So this is my first proposed addition, and it would be 2.4, approval authority. And it would read, the CAO shall approve travel and expense claims submitted by employees. Council shall approve travel and conference attendance for members of council. The mayor or council, where appropriate, shall provide, approve travel and expense claims submitted by the CAO. And rationale for this, because this was missing from the original, policy, was that, this removes ambiguity regarding who authorizes expenses and establishes a clear chain of accountability, consistent with the common municipality government practices. So this is something where I compared, our policy lacked kind of that clear pecking order in terms of who approves what. This just puts it more in black and white, and gives that kind of chain of command there. Thoughts?
Yeah, I like that part.
So I'll
So
continue.
I do have some questions.
Sure.
I guess if we go, well, let me start first. And 3.0 is spelled wrong as well. It's not reimbursement, it's reimbursement, I think. Sorry, that's just the old school teacher coming up. So if, and again, I'm struggling with what's bylaws and what's policy, and I'm not sure, but under expense allowances, and eligibility 2.01, it says the member of council may be reimbursed for expenses incurred beyond their regular duties. I think if we're going to deal with this, there should be some definition of what our regular duties are. That's a question.
Yep, I agree.
Is that in the policy or the bylaw?
No, it's in the bylaw.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
2.01 eligibility. And then, what they had, under 3.0, staff members shall be reimbursed for all reasonable costs associated with the meeting. Again, I'm not clear with what that's saying, so, I mean, I guess I can kind of give some examples, but I think it's not saying that we wouldn't all go to a pub and expect those expenses to be, associated with meetings. So, we know what it shouldn't be, but my question is there a way of defining what it should be?
And these are all things that we can propose as amendments to the bylaw itself.
Yeah. And then 4.1, reimbursement shall be provided for all reasonable travel at cost to and from meetings. I think we should, clarify, what meetings that we're discussing. So,
That is outlined in the actual policy a little bit later on.
okay, so does that include regular meetings?
No, and that's,
Yeah, I would think not, but
Yeah.
I'm just looking for clarification. Okay. And, just to be clear, 7.0, under per diem, the only being suggested that it would be a possibility for anyone to, claim such a beast, that is conducting business outside of the municipal boundaries.
yes, and I think that's kind of where I thought, like, that wouldn't include like a regular meeting, that it has to be
Yeah.
outside of this.
Yeah, so like, I'm assuming that's it, that's outside of the regular municipal boundaries.
Yeah.
You look at the map, like if I went to town, I'm outside of the boundaries, but I can drive 3 times farther this way and still be within, so. Just, I think it's important for us to define those things, so that when people question it, there's an answer. And then, I'm not sure if you did this, Matt, but if you did, it's great work, whoever did it, it's great work. There's clarifications that there'll be nothing paid for working from home or personal activities. And then it defines a fixed amount per day as well. Maybe a little bit more teeth about, it's saying specifically what it's not for, but maybe we should have a little bit more definition around what it is payable. Those were my observations.
So I'll keep going with the policy that I have, and some of those things might be answered, and then at the end, if, I mean, we can all look at the bylaw and the policy that I sent out, and if there is proposed changes, I can make those changes, and present on Tuesday. So the next part, of the policy that I worked on was reimbursement of travel expenses. Staff members shall be reimbursed for all reasonable costs associated with the meeting, convention or seminar in the manner outlined, in the articles 4.0, 5.0, 6.0, and 7.0. For travel, reimbursements shall be provided for all reasonable travel costs and to form meetings, to and from, meetings, conventions, or seminars upon submission or receipt of receipts, or in the case of mileage, an itemized statement of account. 4.2, staff and or council members using their own vehicles shall be reimbursed for mileage at the provincial government rate. 4.3, staff and or council members, required to use their own use their own vehicle for municipal work shall be reimbursed. That's duplicate. 4.4, when travel exceeds 750 kilometers one way, the employee may travel by air. Discount seats are to be purchased whenever feasible. Employees or council members shall not be personally responsible for unavoidable airline cancellation penalties. 4.5, when an employee elects to use a personal vehicle instead of air travel, maximum mileage reimbursement shall not exceed the cost of an economy airfare. So proposed changes to that. Reimbursement of mileage, conference registration fees, accommodations, parking, and other approved travel expenses shall continue regardless of whether a per diem is paid under section 7.0. So, if a per diem is being paid, which I'll talk about in a few minutes, the mileage, conference registration, accommodations, parking, and other incidentals would be, in addition to that. And the rationale for that is it clarifies that the per diem replaces meal reimbursements only and not eliminate reimbursements for legitimate travel costs.
So to clarify, if you're charged a per diem, that would cover your meals
Yep.
while you're away that day.
Yeah, I'll
You
talk
don't-
about that.
Yeah, you don't get both.
That's right. Yep.
So just a question under travel then, and it goes back to something that Mayor Norton had mentioned. So, should we have something in there that we will not be paying for travel to meetings within the municipality? Or some other types of, like a discussion around this travel fee?
I think it definitely needs to be defined.
Yeah, it's defined for the per diem. It's not defined for the travel
Okay.
expenses. So, but that's something that we can definitely,
So it was just, yeah, so with the per diem, it says only if you're outside, which
Yes.
100%.
Mhm.
So it's just thinking about the travel cost, your mileage, but we can come back to that if you'd like. I
Yeah.
just don't know, I just bring it up as something for discussion.
So my own gut feelings would be if we're coming to regular meetings, that would be part of our regular duties and would not be, eligible for such expenses. Like I said, that's just my gut feeling. Others may have other opinions on other things.
No, I agree with that. I agree.
There's some things I'd like to mention a bit, I'll let Matt go through just in case.
Yep. Under accommodations, reimbursement shall
Before we
be.
leave that though, if I may.
Yep.
So is that something that probably we should have it further defined? So it's in there, so you're not paid to go to regular meetings, but special meetings, so what, maybe have to think about that. Not you?
Where's the line drawn?
Well, that's what I mean, yeah.
Definitely regular meetings,
Yeah.
I would say, absolutely, that would be my opinion, no, but, sorry, Matt, to keep interrupting.
Sorry, Matt.
That's all right. All good stuff.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Accommodations, 5.1, reimbursement shall be provided for reasonable accommodation costs upon submission of receipts. 5.2, an employee or council member making private overnight arrangements may be reimbursed $25 per night. And that was, again, that was in the existing policy. This is probably the major change under 6.0 meals. So in the previous policy, 6.1 read, for each full calendar day of travel, staff and or council members shall be paid breakfast at $20, lunch at $25, dinners at $40, plus gratuities not exceeding 15%. My proposed amendment, and this again comes from looking at other policies and other levels of government as well, proposed amendment where a per diem is paid under section 7.0, no additional reimbursement shall be made for meals or meal receipts. The per diem shall be considered to fully compensate the traveler for meals and incidental expenses. Rationale for that, most municipalities adopt either a receipt-based meal reimbursement model or a flat rate per diem model. A flat rate per diem simplifies the administration, reduces receipt tracking, and provides predictable reimbursement. So it seems like from what I've seen across policies, it's either one or the other. It's either a meals receipt-based or a flat rate per diem. And for ease of administration, I would say that the per diem is probably a preferable. Yeah. And then this would be, again, a recommendation. So under 7.0 per diem, originally 7.1, council members and employees required to travel outside municipal boundaries may be paid a per diem. So addition to that, I haven't read, so replace that with a $150 full day, $75 half day per diem. Adding in section 7.2 where the per diem is paid in lieu of meal and incidental expense reimbursement only. Mileage, accommodations, registration, parking, and other approved travel costs remain eligible for reimbursement. And if we think about how we attended the conferences in St. John, that would be the case. Section 7.3, employees shall not receive a per diem where they are otherwise receiving regular wages or salary for the same period unless specifically approved by the CAO. That was suggested language. I would say that if you're being reimbursed regular hours, you wouldn't be eligible for a per diem.
So, like, that would be the equivalent of us saying we wanted a per diem to come to a regular council meeting.
Yeah, because that falls within our expected duties.
Exactly.
Yeah. And the rationale for all of that is it improves transparency and addresses potential concerns about duplicate compensation while allowing operational flexibility where justified. And to some of the points that you made there, Debbie, the existing bullets from the previous, the per diem is separate from meal mileage, as I stated. Per diem applies only when travel requires attendance outside municipal boundaries. Per diems are not payable for local meetings, events, or activities within the municipal boundaries. No per diem will be paid for working from home or for personal activities. The per diem amount is fixed at $150 per day, and then with the proposed changes, it would be a half day, $75 per day, per half day. Compliance clause, all travel, meal accommodations, and per diem reimbursements for council members and staff must comply with bylaw number 11 and this expense policy. And then just an overall recommendation, based on a little bit of my analysis from it. Aside from the proposed amendments above, the policy is generally consistent with comparable municipality expense policies. The recommended changes are intended to clarify approval authority, simplify administration by adopting a clear per diem model, improve transparency, and reduce ambiguity without materially changing the policy's overall intent. So that's what I came up with. And again, if there's additions you guys think need to be put in there or wanted to put in there that would make it more reflective of what the needs of the group are.
I believe Rodney has input.
Yeah, some, I think maybe you answered you already, David, just to be clear. Right around the 4.0 travel, just meetings, like that first 4.1, I wish, and I think Debbie said it before, meetings to me is kind of vague. Like, you wouldn't, I don't expect, if I have a committee meeting or a working group meeting, that's extra, I would expect to get a per diem for that, or anything for the air, because that's part of my, or mileage, because that's part of the, job I do. That's all, I'm just thinking that like meetings, you should have,
Clarification.
I don't know what
on
other
meetings.
words you could use besides meetings, because that's what you use. But you
I'll
know-
write down clarification of meeting expectations.
Yeah, and I had in my notes here that the committee shouldn't be, shouldn't be getting paid for that there, council meetings should be getting paid for that there. And 4.3, Matt, or,
4.2 and 4.3 are repetitive, they're redundant.
okay, yeah, okay, so
It's
4
just-
point,
It's just a duplicate.
yeah, so
It's a 1 to 0.
and what defines municipal work, that's another thing too, that I just, like, if I was asked by the council to go check out something, that's because I'm a councillor at large in Lower Derby, I don't expect gas mileage, that's my opinion, I don't expect gas mileage or per diem for doing that. I think that's something, unless I had to be done right now, like even then I wouldn't, but I'm just thinking in order to get something done, I could probably do it within the next week, I'll be going to town anyway, so I could travel that route and check something out. And that's why I'm thinking, like, and Matt, you did mention it later too, that it's gotta be out of the municipality in order to claim anything up there. And,
So, like, something I would see that, in my opinion, would not be under municipal, expectations is, if somebody died in Blackville and I came to the funeral, I don't think that I should be expecting any type of reimbursement, either mileage, meals, or per diems for doing such a thing.
agreed.
Or birthday parties, or,
And another thing, maybe, I don't know how you can do this, but maybe just even through a group email, if something comes up that has to be done before a meeting, and you're going out of, the municipality boundaries, maybe we get an approval of expenses beforehand. I don't know if that's something that can be done. Is that something I know, sorry, Tina, just, give an example, like, we have done it with, school sport in New Brunswick, if something happens, we just have to send out an email to the, 16 members, and they give their point, yes or no, or whatever, and then if there's enough, it is carried and that expense is approved beforehand. But now, they could have a whole different governance set too, I'm not saying that just because it is there, you do it here.
Well, for employees, you know, if we're gonna go to conferences or trainings, it should be approved beforehand. Council members, really, you guys don't go that far that you would be planning, like, we have usually only one conference in the fall, and, you know, it's whether you go or not, then your expenses would be claimed when you come back. But you have to agree to the registration, so it kind of goes through the approval process before anybody goes anywhere.
Yeah, and like, we know that you're doing that, obviously, that happens every fall,
Oh, yeah,
that's an
an
easy one.
example. So an example, let's say within the health committee, we decide there's a couple of the members who want to go to the Oaktown Health Center to see what it looks like up there. We're going outside the municipality, it's not an emergency. There should be enough time for me to send it out to mayor and council, saying that if part of committee work, we wanna go there, we're gonna take one car, and
Would you
one
approve it?
person, yeah, we.
I think
pay for the
that's
mileage.
easy enough.
Take the expense,
Yes,
is that
that's
what you
a
meant?
perfect example, yeah.
so, but to my question, and that's why I just seen that, is there, provision within our governance for us to be able to do this by email? And
Yeah, it doesn't have to be legally approved.
it doesn't have to be one.
It doesn't have to be legally approved for you to attend meetings and have it approved beforehand.
But just for our own
Yeah.
practices, let's, if we're going somewhere, seek council approval
Yeah.
before we go do it.
And perhaps we can add that in there.
Yeah, I was thinking that, like, it can be, but it's almost better to do that informally
Yeah.
rather than have it,
Like an
Expressly
agreement type
written.
of thing, yeah.
But yeah, what I would ask is, if you guys do get a chance before Tuesday, if you can read through this again, and even on the document that I sent, if you wanna add in a note of something that you think is pertinent to add, let me know and I can word it in and then we can talk about it again, on Tuesday if it's on the agenda.
So I have a question, and Tina, probably, you're the only one here that would know the answer. When we do bylaws, you know, I can sit down and write to my heart's content, think I'm doing a good job, but then, basically the final, part of it is for somebody that would have, knowledge legally if what I've written is holds, ground legally. So this went to 2 readings. Who was the legal, who gave it the legal sniff for it to go to those 2 readings?
This is the policy, not a bylaw.
Okay. And then we don't need that for policy, okay? But we're gonna attach it to a bylaw, and then we're gonna make a bylaw for our remuneration. So I think eventually it's got to go there. So Matt, are you proposing that we move this forward as a policy? Then we would have to follow the next step with the
So-
bylaw.
I see it as going one or 2 ways, one of 2 ways. I think if we can take the original policy and make amendments like I'm suggesting, or small amendments like we're suggesting around the table, I don't think that we have to tear that policy apart, rewrite it, and start with the first reading again. I would say that if we can then, have a 3rd reading of an amended policy and attach the bylaw and save a month's worth of waiting.
Yeah, I think just clarification points, that's all.
Yeah.
I think that's all we're asking right now, right?
I just have Tina as well. So we know bylaws require 3 readings. Policies only, they don't require that. It's just approval at a meeting.
At a meeting, yeah.
Okay.
But we're all in agreement when it goes to becoming a bylaw, that we have to have somebody legally look at it, and then bring it back for 3 readings.
So,
That was the question. Go ahead.
thank you, sorry. Then the question is, Matthew, would you be willing to have a look at, there is a bylaw right now, would you be willing to have a look at that bylaw as well in conjunction
Yes,
to this policy where you've already done so much work?
sure.
To see if there's the changes and questions that you would also put forward?
Yeah, I think the bylaw is a lot like the policy was. I think with a couple amendments and clarifications and wording there, I don't think it would have to, again, tear it apart and start over again. I think you could do the 3rd reading of it with an approved policy.
I would want to know that it had somewhere been approved legally for that, to move forward.
Right, so the bylaw itself the bylaw itself is approved with 3 readings, is it not?
But bylaw number 3 was, but bylaw number 11, which is the one that's to be amended,
Okay,
had 2 readings. But it should, before it's illegal, once the policy is adopted, it can be attached to that.
so bylaw number 11,
Had 2
which was going into its 3rd reading, was it overseen by
Legal.
No.
legal?
So, just in my opinion, it's going to take 1 more month to probably check all the boxes. So in my opinion, we should look to check the boxes so that nobody comes back to us later and says, but you didn't do that right.
We need to approve the policy before we can, move
Yeah.
forward with finalizing the bylaw.
Yeah.
And we can do that right away, I think.
Yeah, so again, with changes that you guys have suggested, I think we can make a cohesive policy that we can agree on.
So can we have a motion that Matt move forward to, implementing some of these, suggestions we made to him tonight? Moved by Justin, seconded by Marilyn. Any more questions on the question? All those in favor?
Aye.
Contrary? Motion passed. Thank you, Matt.
Yep.
Did a lot of work there. Marilyn. I was gonna say, I finally get a chance to talk. Go ahead, Marilyn. Yeah, 5.7, public complaint management policy, not bylaw, policy.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. we've had a lot of discussion about public complaints, how those are managed. So in conversations with the CAO, she agreed to let me give it a try to develop those. In my past life, I helped develop a lot of them. So, I developed this policy, and it's in relation to the chain of command. So, if there is, I'm not gonna read the whole thing.
No,
But if it comes to it,
It's long, yeah,
it's long, but I believe complete. I'd be open to any comments, questions, deletions, or additions. What I tried to do was make it as fulsome as possible to ensure that if a complaint comes through the door, and this is related to employees, we already have a very good code of conduct policy in relation to council. So this is in relation to employees. So we needed to know if complaint came in, who received it, who looked into it, investigated, and then how they would respond. So it does identify it quite clearly. It's almost like a chain of command of how that happens. In addition, there's schedules in here. So Schedule A is your public complaint form. So if someone has a complaint, we want to have it recorded. We want to be able to have it, and then the second schedule is the complaint investigation checklist. So what did we do? Who reviewed it? How was it reviewed? What were the facts? And then the last one, I tried to make a graphic. I did, Madam Chair,
Yes.
I absolutely did put this through AI, because I'm no good at making flow charts.
That was great.
So, but it kind of helps a little bit. It makes it quite clear, and then down, in step 2, it did identify if there was service request, if there was a complaint about the employee, how it went. If there was a complaint about the CAO, who received it, who was the decision authority, who responded. A complaint about the member of council, well, that took us back to our code of conduct bylaw. So it is long, it is a policy, it only requires one reading. I'd like to take it to the next, either the next meeting, and but I'd be very open to having comments, if there's,
I thought it was very comprehensive, for
We
sure.
do.
And I like that.
Yeah, it's long, but I think it's very descriptive, and it's very, it gives a good representation of who to go to for what reason. And, the addition of having a little bit of office tracking in terms of who was consulted after the fact, I think that's big too. So I'd be comfortable, giving it another read and then being, ready to
So
vote on it.
where do we stand, Tina, help me with this, where do we stand on getting feedback back to Maryland? Because we got these, they are long, as you can see. I read it, I have multiple questions about it and suggestions. But we're not all gonna sit here tonight and go through those. So what's our next step that we can have that with Marilyn and come up with a document that she can put forward to council at a regular meeting or a special meeting and move it on?
maybe a
Go ahead.
suggestion. So if you, let's say 4.1, you either had a question, suggestion, or
Yep.
was redundant.
Yep.
Maybe just send me your comment.
Are we
Or
allowed
you
to do
could-
that?
Oh, yeah.
I think email James easy
Does
way
that
to.
work?
Yeah, so what I was thinking,
Yeah, please.
just because it's long, and I did read through it, and I read through it once. Again, very comprehensive, and, covers a lot of, potential complaints and how it would go. If we could, I'm thinking just realistically, we have a monthly meeting next week. Could this be something that we could, not, table, and have it ready to pass in September's meeting, just to go through it? You said you had a number of questions. I just read through it. I didn't even write down any questions that I had on it yet, but I would think I'll have some, because I read through that email that had the entire, agenda on it, package on it, so there's a lot of.
I painted it pretty color.
But you could, if you wanted to, if you've already, anybody that's already made changes, scan it. Just bring it up here and maybe the girls could scan it to my email. That would be really easy and really helpful.
Yeah, okay, so we good with that one?
Yep, and the one addition I have is I simply put in my references. So I wanna make sure that would be number 14 of the policy. This will be my references for this particular policy.
So you would attach
I
that
would
when you bring it
attach
forward?
it as number 14.
Yeah. Okay, so, then the motion is, for us to work on it. I'm just running through this, and somebody's gonna have to say yay or nay and make a motion, but to work on it and have it ready for our August regular meeting, is that what I'm hearing?
I would say
September is what
Yes,
I
yes,
suggested.
yes, I meant to say September, it's the other August. The
I'm
September
like,
meeting.
not August.
So, we need a motion for that. So I was, were you able to make a motion on my lump? Okay, that was, okay, cause that, okay, moved by Matt, second by Tyson. I believe we're probably done with questions. All those in favor? Contrary? Motion passed. Now I don't say. It's gonna be very short and sweet. Criminal record check. I've been up at the office and I've been talking to Tina about how things should be, and my understanding that she told me at one point in time, council employees, everybody had criminal record checks and they were in their files and so on. I truly believe since we are in a position of authority with the public, or in authority, whichever way you wanna look at it, that not only ourselves, but like our employees, we have, and I'm not saying anybody's doing anything wrong, but this just covers all the bases so that everybody's covered and they can say, no, my criminal record check is in my file and, you know, it's done by the RCMP, by the way, it's free, so it's not like it's, an expense. I did drop into the RCMP, they gave me a couple papers, which I'll be filling out, Tina, you're in charge of the employees, so maybe we can work with you to move it on down the line after we get ours done. Is that okay with you?
Madam Mayor, I don't know how free it is, because if you are volunteering, they will do your criminal record check free. If you're getting paid, they charge you for a criminal record check. I tell you,
They told me it was free.
I just got it done because I referee, volleyball for B&B. So in order to because I'm getting paid for that, they charge me for the, criminal record check. Now, 4 or 5 years ago, I got one done because I had to get one done for, international students. That was a volunteer, that was like above and beyond my job, no charge. Just, may wanna check that out with, RCMP first.
Well, like I said, I did check it out, that's what they told me, but we can recheck it out.
Yeah.
But I do believe that even if, there's a charge, it's not a big charge. I think that we should be looking at paying if there's a charge, because in my opinion, it's very important that we can say to everybody's had a criminal check. That's open for discussion.
I agree.
So I'm not sure what next steps are in that. One, I'll validate it, cause I'll go get mine done and then I'll let you know if you charge me or not. And then we'll work on it from there, folks. Sure. Yeah.
Maybe they won't even ask you why you want it done, just want, like work, I don't know.
All right.
Tell them if they don't ask.
Bylaw number 9, EMO review draft, Counselor Underhill.
Thank you. So, Councillor Donovan and myself are the co-chairs for the emergency, Tyson, as the co-chairs of our emergency measures, committee. So we do currently have a bylaw, in place. I'm suggesting, and, I've shared this with Tyson and our, I'll just leave it at that. This bylaw, it updates it, it's a little bit more fulsome, and it also represents more of the emergency measure bylaws in other municipalities. So what it does include, it doesn't include the terms of reference. It identifies the people who should be involved in an emergency management committee. It talks about the declaration of a local emergency, who typically would do that.
Oh, I know that.
Yes, exactly. But we should need to have it. Who calls it off? How's it called off? Any financial authority that's required during an emergency, if emergency purchases have to be made. It talks about auxiliary personnel that we may be called to pull into action if we have an emergency of some type. And it talks a little bit, just a paragraph around liability and protection from liability, the repeal and coming into force of this particular, when we call an emergency. So it does include elements of the original bylaw, but it does include more than what the previous bylaw did include.
So again, Councillor Underhill, put lots of work into this. We've all had it, we've read it. Would we, use the same principle as we did with the other bylaw, that we give her, input via an email chain, and you get it ready to come forward in September?
That would be lovely.
Yep.
And again, I left off my references, so I did include them, but I will add them to this particular policy.
So can I have a motion?
I can motion it, and then
Motion made by Marilyn, seconded by Justin. Any further question on it?
I have a question.
Question,
Would
Robin?
our, acting director of fire services have much input on this here, or
I gave it to him.
gave it to him?
Yes, or input.
Yeah.
So Tyson and I sent the email off to Mr. McKinley and copied Tyson on it, so he was going to give us some feedback.
Yeah.
As well, he's working on the terms of reference for the committee.
And I think we already discussed, if that position is part of the EMO, which I'm sure it will be, it should be, put into the bylaw by the name of the position and not by the name of the person. So if you take over that job, Paula, then you're doing it. You don't have to change the name from Debbie Norton to Paula Harrisburg. Okay, so, on the question, all those in favor?
Aye.
Contrary? Motion carries. So I told you that we'd roll it here once we get the moving.
Some of the last one.
510, records management policy, I expect you'll do something similar, but here you have the floor.
Very similar. Actually, I'd like this to go to our CAO, treasurer, and the folks within the office, and all of us obviously as well. This, I have to say, this was a very hard one for me. I did have some input from folks that manage records, provincial and, government records, let's say. I do have references here. This was a much harder one for me to do. However, I think it's done well, but we really need to have you folks, and I would really appreciate Tina, Jennifer, and I to have a look at it and read it to make sure it makes sense by the people that would use it on a daily basis. Because currently we don't have a policy that identifies how we should be managing those records.
So this is not a policy or a bylaw.
This is a policy, it says manual, but yeah, see, that's what I put it as a manual.
Okay.
So maybe, I don't even know if it has to come here because it will be used by employees, but I think it should come to council for input.
Okay.
Tina, thoughts? Yeah.
I think the staff have an input,
Oh.
they can at least tell you if it's a feasible way to implement it or not.
It didn't even understandable. I hope so.
I read through it.
Yeah.
Do we need a motion on that, since it's not a policy or a bylaw?
the action is that, staff is going to look at it, and give feedback along with all of the council. Alrighty. One more, and it'll probably fall into a similar situation, is, the review of the draft CAO policy, Councillor Buggy.
So Marilyn had given us, a description of it as well.
Mr. Butler.
Yeah.
May I just preface it? I had been working on one, and Rodney's responsible for the development of that. I had just sent it for your information.
Yeah, okay.
So that's all that was.
Yeah, I didn't want us to be doing
Absolutely
duplicate
not.
work, that's all. That's what that email was.
Yeah, I prepared it a while ago, so I just had shared it.
So, Marilyn has a 22-page document.
Oh.
I have a page and a half. So it's just, oh, sorry, that's the job posting. The one that I have, and my plan was to come up and get the soft copy for you all, and then also have a copy of the 3 companies that wanted to do our ad campaign. And I wanted to get the references done from all of those before I gave it there, so you could make a decision with all the information. So right now, I have the job description, which is 8 to 10 pages, and the job posting, which is 2 pages. So what I'll do is I'll make a copy for there for you all after the meeting, so you can have it for Tuesday. And I'm hoping to have the references from the companies that will do the promotion for the position. And that's all I have.
We don't need any motions on that?
No, that's just information, I believe.
Information. Thank you, Councillor Buggy.
You're welcome.
Speed limit in Blackwell, the mayor wants to complain, she got a speeding ticket. No, just joking, I did get one, but that was last year. I have been approached by different people in the municipality, that they thought that the village, speed limit should be consistent from one end to the other. Should it? I don't know, but, I did ask the RCMP for their input, and they said that the council should go to DTI, because it would be the engineers that would have the best answer for that. So, can I have a motion to, present this on Tuesday, that I would have the authority to approach DTI for input on this? So, moved by Matt, second by Rodney. Any more questions on the question? All those in favor?
Aye.
Contrary? Tina, update on road work.
So there's a number of areas, in Blackville that need work on municipal roads. We received 1 quote from St. Isidore, and we're waiting on 2 more to come in. I spoke with By Construction today, and they're supposed to be here tomorrow to come and look at what needs to be done. And I also spoke with, North Shore, and they are supposed to be here as well. When we get all the 3 quotes in on the work that needs to be completed, they'll be represented for approval.
Thank you, Tina. Yeah, because this has been going on since we arrived, people have been coming in, and, you know, I got a sinkhole here, I got this there, and they're all things that could cause probably problems for them, so, it's great that these companies, we would have done it a long time ago, just tried to get a construction company in the summer to come out and start giving you quotes. It is their busy season, so thank you very much, Tina.
Tina, that, manhole and, the Loxton Road's included there, right?
Yeah.
That's one of the,
Yeah.
I look at every time I do anything else,
Every
and someone's not gonna tear it,
Yeah, there's a few
it'll
of
be
them.
an issue.
Okay, 15.4 is, an update on bylaw 12, rezoning on Main Street and Tower Road. Again, Tina.
Yeah, so everybody should have a copy of the background on this. It's basically the old mill property. They wanted to rezone that, process that happened last year before the council, dissolved. So basically, the Regional Service Commission has to hold a public meeting to, proceed with the rezoning. It has to be put into the public. So, and it has to be advertised, I think it's for 21 days before that they can actually hold a public meeting. So I just wanted to, put it out to council that, if it was okay that we posted for the public meeting to proceed with bylaw.
So can I just give a little input?
Sure.
So, the regional planning committee of Justin Forbes, I do believe, Rita, that's who you've been speaking to as well. He's sort of the head honcho when it comes to this stuff. And I spoke to him this morning about, zoning and what applies and so on. And there is a new zoning, plan coming out. And his suggestion was for him to come and update us on what the plan is. So I would suggest that council get, educated by Justin Forbes before we do that, because as he said, they're like just going like crazy because they're doing inspections. They're inspecting, buildings and everything where permits have been, issued, and of course, there's summer holidays going on. So we're probably looking towards the end of August before we can get the Greater Miramichi Service Commission here to speak to us. So for that reason, I would ask, would it not make more sense for us to get that education before we, set a date of 21 days?
Yep. Question?
Question?
What's the plan for the, old mill site? Do we know what they were rezoning for?
Well, Hal Ricker owns it right now, and I think, there's someone interested in buying it, I think he wanted to buy it from the zoning stuff, he didn't want to buy it in the stuff from this being,
Okay.
heavy industrial.
Because right now it's heavy industrial project.
Yeah, exactly, and I think he was looking at more apartments, so I think he was looking to make it.
And so that would bring me back to the other question about the sewer that we haven't discussed fairly.
Oh, it's not on the agenda, but it's on my mind.
Yeah, like, I'm just thinking, I know we must be at maximum capacity, that's the thing about, anyway, that's something maybe we can discuss at a later date, I'm not sure what the.
So we have had feedback, the company did the initial assessment on the sewer, that, Tina sent you all that update, I believe. It's not for the faint of heart, it's a little bit complicated to read. I'd like to talk to Tina about it, and we'll try to digest it and see what it says, and then, make the next steps going forward, and hopefully we can have some just suggestions for the meeting coming up on
Yeah.
Tuesday night.
Yeah, I put it on the agenda for Tuesday night, so basically we need council approval to allow them to go into the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The next
Yeah,
step. But, yeah, so if it's okay with you, I'll try to get up here either Thursday or Friday morning, and we'll go over it, and so, because we don't have it Monday's a holiday, and, so.
That's all information you guys have too when we do meet with the Greater Service Commission.
Yeah, but, yeah. Hold us through. It's gonna be a mess. Anyways, I believe we're still on the agenda here, moving forward. Article 515, Harvest House, and, Tina's gonna give us a quick update on, I know she sent out, question to the planning commission last week, and just asked where we were at with the whole Harvest House.
Yeah,
For the planning commission, so you go ahead.
I'll just read the email that was sent out. So it says, the project is not prohibited by zoning. There is currently no zoning in that area. However, it does require approvals before it can proceed. Specifically, a building permit is required because the proposal involves a change in occupancy.
Speak up, please.
Yeah, it's hard to hear over there. So, Tina.
Yes.
Now,
I think that, the ability to hear is a problem, not just tonight, but I think it's a problem. I know people keep saying to me, that are watching it online, you know, sometimes we hear you, sometimes we don't, we hear this person, we don't. So maybe we're gonna have to start getting, a little bit of a mic system that at least we can pass around so that people can hear. But, even Tina, if you want to stand up and project your voice over them.
Sure, I can do
Or
that.
if not, I can read this for you.
So this is just an email from Justin Forbes. He said the project is not prohibited by zoning. There is currently no zoning in this area. However, it does require approval before it can proceed. Specifically, a building permit is required because the proposal involves a change in occupancy and building use. We had several discussions with the proponents beginning in September 2025 and requested additional information describing the proposed use and how the building would operate, so we could determine the applicable building code requirements and any necessary approvals. We followed up again in November 2025, and most recently in July 26. We have since learned that the individuals we were corresponding with are no longer on the organization's board. Recent correspondence from the current board chair suggests they believe that they are ready to proceed. However, the information originally requested has not been provided to our office, and a building permit is still required before the building can be occupied for the proposed use. So in answer to your question, the municipality through the Regional Service Commission requires the proponents to obtain a building permit before proceeding. If the work begins or the building is occupied without the required approvals, enforcement action can be taken.
Let me know if you need any additional background or information. So, as I already expressed to, you earlier, I was talking to Justin Forbes today about planning and so on. And the first long sentence that he, has here in his email, he says, the project is not prohibited by zoning. There is currently no zoning in the area. However, it does require approvals before it proceeds. Specifically, a building permit is required because the proposal involves a change in occupancy / building use. So the discussion that I had with Justin this morning, they don't need a building permit because it proposes a change of occupancy building use. They need a building permit for the renovations regardless of whatever it is that they're proposing. And the current board of directors of Harvest House has not supplied them with any information about what it is they're wanting to do. So it's kind of in limbo and nothing is happening at this point in time. But just to clarify, they don't need a building permit because it involves changes in occupancy and building use. That's a whole different shelf of things from requiring a building permit. Rodney?
Says approval, who approves this? Do we have any say in this approval?
You know what? When he comes and educates us here on this zoning stuff, he'll tell us all that. I don't want to hazard a guess here tonight, and then, tomorrow, somebody looks it up and comes roaring back to council, you guys said, and that's not what it says. So, I would suggest that we wait until we get educated by, Justin Forbes from the planning
Okay.
commission.
So my other question was, what can we actually do? So that's something that he's gonna have to answer.
Yes,
Because it's obvious to me that anybody I've spoken to in that area, and I mean 100% of the people, do not want that in that community.
yes.
So. So where was that?
I think we all mean that. So when Justin comes, it will be an open meeting, so you folks will be here and get educated on the process the same as council will.
So my next question is nothing can happen until we speak to Justin Forbes, is that correct? Is that what I'm understanding?
They can apply for a building
Okay.
permit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Would it be worthwhile for council, even though we have, perhaps might not have any input or authority to make a decision with the planning commission, would it be worthwhile for council to actually note and determine if we're supporting our population, our community, and not for that building not to be there? Let me try to spit it out, sorry folks.
I think, sorry.
I don't know, like, I'm not sure.
I think maybe
May I
that's-
suggest that, we take that to our new municipal lawyer
Yeah,
to see if we're allowed to make such
that's,
a point?
And Mr. Forbes might be able to answer that for us
yeah.
in one word.
Yeah.
No, I was just saying the same thing, because to me, we've heard both sides, but we as council never debated our opinions
Yeah.
to each other
No.
at any time, and I know it can be frustrating to people listening, that we're sitting here.
All we were doing was listening.
Yeah.
And that,
Yeah, like we're sitting here, like, Matt,
The reality of it is that there is no zoning for the area. So when that zoning comes out, there could very well be something in that zoning that might prohibit that building be used for that purpose anyway.
it's,
Especially if we have a discussion with Justin beforehand.
so I had an old friend one time and they said, it's hard telling not knowing. And
That's
so
right.
until we hear from Justin and everybody here, plus everybody in the municipality is welcome to come and hear what he has to say to us. And if you choose not to be able to be here, you'll be able to sit home and hear it on your, computers anyways. Marilyn?
Madam Mayor. So we're anticipating we could hopefully book them for our September meeting? Because obviously.
I would like to get
I'd
them
say,
before.
can we book them for this meeting next month?
Yes, that's what it.
Oh,
our committee of the
The
whole.
committee of the whole,
Meeting
yeah.
of the whole.
Is that something that can be done for the committee in the whole?
Can we have presentations?
Oh.
It's not meant for that, I mean.
Okay,
we can do
special
it
meeting then.
at-
But we can have a special
We
meeting.
can have a special meeting.
Yeah.
We could call a special meeting.
Why don't we do
I
that?
I would like to get them in August.
Yes, the
Which-
sooner than later.
The sooner, the better.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So Tina, do you want to see if you can come
Sure.
speak to us in August? Or would you like me to
No, I can send them an email.
bother them?
You also mentioned, Debbie, in relation to our municipal lawyer.
Yes.
If, we have, administration perhaps reach out to see if that is something that we should even embark on.
So Tina, maybe, when I come up tomorrow or the next day, we can, give him a call and see what he says? As long as he's not on vacation. He's been on vacation this summer as well.
Is there any dates that people aren't available?
Well, let's get the majority of us here and go for it. Because, I don't
Try to
know.
make it work.
Yeah, let's,
Tuesday's bad for Tyson? Tuesdays?
Tuesdays in general, Tyson, you mean?
Well, every second.
Okay. So,
Matthew, do you?
you are
Right.
any difference?
For the rest of the summer, so until September again, I'm at prison in the daytime, so my evenings are, I can make any evening work.
You're lucky you're just there in the daytime.
Yeah.
Evenings are good, then I'm back to work on the 17th.
Oh, you're back to work. Okay.
Yeah, as long as that's honest.
Okay.
Okay, so sounds
So,
good.
so let's get, an invite out to Justin to come in and educate us as soon as possible. Folks, I know when you looked at, the agenda, you probably thought that it would take us 5 hours. I want to thank council for, being so professional, having the reading done ahead of time, so that we could move this along in a sufficient way. Having said that, I believe it's time to call for a motion to adjourn. Motion by Marilyn, second by Paula.